Today I'm going to be taking a look at this HiSense integrated under-counter freezer. It's also got built-in fixed door fixing kit, and I'm going to be taking a look inside and taking you through all the different features and maybe some things that are not so good when I do a review right now. Come and join me. So the first thing you'll notice is that I've already fixed the door kit. I think it's absolutely fantastic that this comes with a fixing kit. You can choose to open the door on the left hand side or the right hand side. It's got the hinge and you're able to change it, so it really doesn't matter. Make sure the important thing is that it keeps with the flow of your kitchen cupboards, so that way then you can open it on the right way and be able to access it easily. Let's take a look inside the freezer. Not sure if you picked that up on the camera, but the first thing to note, it's got real good suction on the door. That means then that you know that when you close the door, no air is going to creep in, causing your freezer to frost up and giving you that dreaded feeling of having to defrost the freezer because you can't open some of the drawers. Now the first thing to note is this freezer's got a 91 litre capacity, which is on average about 5 carrier bags full of food. So it's important to note whether or not this will suit your family dynamics or not, but 5 carrier bags is quite a lot in my opinion for frozen food. It's also A+ rated, which means it roughly costs you no more than around £30 a year to run, which is fantastic for keeping those low energy bills. It's also designed to fit underneath a worktop, so again it's important to consider that it's not a standalone unit and it is an integrated freezer. It's 59 centimetres wide, so it would be a standard 600 width cupboard base. It's important again just to make sure you get the measurements right before you order. One thing it does have is on the bottom 4 plastic feet which are adjustable, so you can adjust the height up to where your worktop is. What I would say is I did find the plastic feet felt a little bit flimsy, that potentially, if put under too much strain, could snap a little bit. As mentioned earlier, it does come with the ability to be able to reverse the door, so you can choose which way you want the freezer to open. Really important from getting that flow in your kitchen and making sure that all the cupboards open in the right direction. The last thing you want to do is to buy a freezer and you can only open it one way and it doesn't just look right with your kitchen. So inside you'll notice it's got 3 drawers, all of equal size, all made out of plastic as you'd expect, quite hard plastic. The top drawer does easily just hang down a little bit, so again you can peek into it, you don't have to worry about it falling out. If you do want to get it out, you simply just lift up and pull it out. You'll also note it's got handles on the side, so great for carrying onto your worktop, or maybe if you've got a lot of food in there and you just want to get a full hands-on of what's in there. Equally, just to pop it back in, you just tilt it slightly up and slide it back in. All 3 drawers are exactly the same size, so there's no worrying about whether to split some things in one drawer or another. And if you check out the bottom drawer, underneath there's also a small well to keep things in there such as, I don't know, hidden ice creams from the children, maybe a little roly-poly pudding, or maybe even things that you don't tend to get out very often and you want to keep them down there out of the way. At the bottom you'll see 2 vents. Now it's important to make sure that these aren't covered when you're using this freezer, because this allows air to get inside and around the back of the freezer unit, and therefore it doesn't get too hot, particularly on hot days like we're having at the moment. One thing that this freezer doesn't have is frost protection. Now, many freezers out there have an automatic frost protection. That means then that if, for example, you was to keep the door open by mistake for a long period of time, it can recognise that, and it does mean that none of these drawers will get all frosted up and frozen together, and you're not struggling then to open them or use the freezer going forward. This freezer doesn't have that frost protection, but does have an alarm to tell you when the temperature gets too low. It does mean that if you are prone to leaving the door open, the only way to recover your freezer would be to actually manually defrost it, i.e. turn off the plug, wait for it to all defrost and thaw out, wipe it dry and start it back up again. So it's just something to consider. Now for the purposes of this review, what I've done is I've got a bag of frozen products and I just want to show you how they fit into the freezer. So here's my bag of frozen products. Let's see how this freezer manages to hold these. First things first, I've got some jam roly-poly. As I said, sometimes I like to keep this away from the children, so what I'd probably do is pop it in the bottom, hide it in there. So as I said, it's quite deep in there, so again, you're still not going to see it, and you've still got some room to keep things on top there. Just pop it back in there. What have I got here? A big bag of frozen chips. Ideal sometimes when the kids come home from school. I just haven't got the time to cook something. I put them in the middle drawer. And I'll push them to the back. That way then you can see just how much room you've still got left in that drawer. So if I just show you there, that is quite a big bag of chips in there. And you've still got all this side, all this front room, plus you've got a little bit on top. I had a couple of bits of frozen meat. And then finally, the good old faithful pizza. What I do find is a lot of freezers struggle to fit pizzas in, either because by the time you've got everything in there, you just haven't got the width to put the pizza in there, or maybe just sometimes just the freezer itself isn't a great depth and therefore you can't get a great deal in there. Let's see how this holds out. Easy. Absolutely easy to fit in there. Plenty of space again around there, easy to fit in, easy to get out. It really does have a good depth of this freezer. It goes all the way back to the wall and therefore then you are getting a lot of depth in that drawer. I mean that's one full bag of shopping there, so I think pretty easy could fit 5 bags of frozen shopping in. So, if you take a look at the panel at the bottom, you'll notice that it's very simple. That means there you don't need a master's to be able to use it. It just keeps it plain and simple, easy to use. First up, you've got a dial, which is how cold you want the freezer, whether you want it cold, mid, or colder. Simple. You just change that just by moving the dial accordingly. Next up, you've got your alarm silencer. Now your alarm works when if you've had a power cut for whatever reason, or your freezer goes below a certain temperature, which is -10, the alarm will start sounding several times each minute, just to let you know that the temperature is getting warmer and warmer and you need to do something about the contents inside your freezer. Just for added peace of mind, this freezer will last up to 12 hours without any power before you need to start worrying about what the contents of your freezer is. Really handy for if you're at work, let's say, and you work 7.5 hour average days. You know you can still get home then in time and your stuff will be fine if you've had, let's say, a power cut in the day. Then you've got your 3 LED lights. Your first one, again, is your alarm light. Your second one is your power, so again, you know power's going through it. And your third one is your super freeze function. Now the super freeze can be accessed just by pressing the super freeze button, and turning it on and turning it off. The super freeze will give it a big boost of freeze. For example, I've been speaking to you for quite a while now. I've left the doors open, so maybe once I finish this, I'll just want to bring that temperature back up. So what I'll do for that is I'll just press the super freeze button and I'll be able to easily bring that temperature back up. Now, if I just shut the door, again, you'll be able to see how that suction of the door closing really works. That's mainly thanks to these 2 hinges here, really big quality hinges. And it means that, again, you are making sure that you are shutting that door and keeping all that cold inside. So again, you can really feel that suction when you're opening and closing that door. Overall, what I like about the freezer, I love the fact that it comes with a fixing door kit. It means I don't have to troll out to a DIY shop, try and find all the bits and pieces to be able to fit my door easily. There's also great instructions inside the booklet that tells me just how to fix it. I also like the fact that you can choose which side you wish the door to open, simply by changing the hinges on the doors. Again, another really simple but useful function. I love the fact that all 3 trays are the same size, and all of them also all go to the back of the freezer. That means that you're getting a full space in every single drawer. I like the little hidden area, particularly for things like treats, maybe even store a bit of ice or maybe some frozen meats in there that you don't tend to get out so often. I'm not so keen on the plastic legs underneath. I do think that they probably are a little bit prone to maybe snapping, so just be careful when you're manoeuvring your freezer into place. It's just something to consider about that. I'm also a little bit sceptical about the fact that it doesn't have any frost protection. Now again, as I've showed you during the video, the door does really suction shut, so there shouldn't be much problems of that. But again, you know, with having children in the house, they're maybe not as conscious of shutting the door as what I am. So it just worries me a little bit that maybe that frost protection is something that may be missing from it. Overall, it's a super freezer. I love the fact that it's only going to cost me £30 a year to run, always looking at my electricity bills there. I love the fact that there's a large, massive space in each drawer to get my things in there, and things such as the pizza fits quite easily. And actually, it looks really good as well. Functional, stylish, and spacious. So guys, there we are. That's my review of this HiSense integrated under-counter freezer. If you've got any questions on this freezer, feel free to leave comments below. If not, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Take care.